Hey everybody, it's Morbid Person G. I'm coming to you live today, and this video is called V for Vendetta. And I basically want to go over what my views on the V for Vendetta movie means to me, and what's it about, and what, reasonings are behind it, and what it's formulated as time has went by. Now, most of you guys have you know about V for Vendetta and Guy Fawkes. Of course, the movie V for Vendetta takes place in the future. It takes place in London, England. Around of a century to where, not a lot of things were allowed. Very strict rules and policies. All of a sudden it shows the history of Guy Fawkes. All intentions were to blow up the British Parliament due to how much structure was in place and stuff. Now, with that being said, Guy Fawkes, they say, was hung and he was killed, okay? And that's the actual Guy Fawkes. The movie that was founded, you have your comic. First, it all starts out, as the original story, which is the actual Guy Fawkes. Then it goes to, your DC and Comic-Con, and, and scripts being written of Guy Fawkes, such as Alan Moore. Alan Moore is a very, very dedicated member. He's written several comics, man. He's done a lot for the Guy Fawkes name and stuff, and basically what it represents. But there was something that had happened, and Alan Moore was actually invited to come to a November 5th march. And before I tell you this exclusively, I'm going to start out by telling you what my views of the V for Vendetta movie was really about and stuff. There's a guy named Sage. He does videos about Antifa and Anonymous and wears a camo mask over his face and stuff. So, Sage, I saw that you had said a lot about V for Vendetta. You didn't have many good things to say about it, and you also had stated that, Anonymous ain't the only activist wearing the Guy Fawkes. You're right. There are Antifa members that do wear Guy Fawkes masks and that do things in a false name. But I can assure you, brother, that Antifa and Anonymous are two different worlds. They do not intertwine. They go their own separate ways, and they prefer to keep it that way because we have our own beliefs in the way we do things, and they have their own. And believe me, they believe in a lot more violence than we do. We believe in a more peaceful outcome. We believe in having peaceful protest, And we try to tell these guys that, hey, when you go into protest and you make all kinds of messes and cause fucking havoc, and you leave things and stuff, man, everywhere, and fucking paper and signs and shit, it's the cities that gotta pick that shit up. It's the people, we the people that gotta pick that up. And it's not fair to anybody else to have to go pick up their trash for the destruction. So Anonymous believes in a protest that's peaceful, that's lawful, that, and we do support police officers because, there's not all cops are bad. There's a lot of corruption and stuff, but you gotta think, these guys go out there every single day, putting their lives on the line for something in the better good. But, as you see in the V for Vendetta movie, you had Evie, which was, a really, really pretty young girl that kind of, she was very independent, more like and so to say. All of a sudden, she, in the very start of the movie kind of begins like this. There's a curfew that's, I think it's like 10 or something, you gotta be inside. And this is very structured in London, England. And all of a sudden, she starts walking towards, going her own way when she walks to the right, when she goes out of her door. Then all of a sudden, these like, policemen / people with authority or whatever stop her. And all of a sudden, and they had every intention to rape her. And these were supposed to be the London policemen. And they said, won't you please me, and yada, yada, yada. And it has a lot of meaning behind it, people. It really states that, it's not okay for some of these things to happen. But, of course, you had to create an antagonist and a protagonist for, this movie. And with that being said, there were some things that were very inappropriate that I do not suggest for some viewers. But then you have V for Vendetta. You have V, which comes up out of the shadows, out of God knows where. And, all of a sudden, whoa, he's slinging fucking knives around and everything else. And basically explaining himself that, hey, Evie, I'm good. All then blah, 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 really intellectual. The guy's very extraordinarily, intelligent. Just spewing all this information out, you know what I mean? And, and all of a sudden, he's like, okay, well, you want to come, see how we're having a party tonight. There's going to be lots of music and stuff. So Evie said, okay. Evie eventually, comes back to this masked man wearing the Guy Fawkes mask and meets him on top of a roof. And he says, Evie, can you hear the music? And he's, doing this little thing with his fingers. And he's dun, 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 dun. And then all of a sudden, kaboom, boom, boom, boom. Everything just starts fucking exploding. Then everyone's like, whoa. And the British Parliament's just fucking blowing up. And fireworks are going everywhere, and she's like, oh my god, and she's like covering her mouth like this. Like, fucking, it's just like, it's a really dramatic scene, it's crazy. And then you had corruption, you had this guy that got on there, this emperor or whatever, and fucking, we got the army, we got this, we got that. And then here you have Guy Fawkes that hacked it to the news station. And he's sitting there, of course his hands are burnt, so most of you guys have seen V for Vendetta, he had his hands covered up and everything, because most of you guys that know towards the end of the movie, he was burnt, and he actually almost died in a fire, and he come out, fucking like, with his hands raised and everything. It's just one of those things that it's like one of those films that you just have to see it. I can sit here and explain details to you, but you gotta watch it and make your own judgment, you know what I mean? It's a really good movie. I mean, I especially thought, on Netflix it didn't have the best ratings, which I don't understand, because a movie that good, hey man, you gotta give it some ratings, come on now. But, there's a lot of crazy things, a lot of fucking, killing going on. He'd always leave a rose with the victims whenever they died. Apparently his Guy Fawkes mask was, it looked like a skin on the inside of it, and it was like a metal mask, so whenever that way somebody hit him, it like, ka-boom, like it just ricocheted off, which, how in the hell do you make that kind of mask? I don't know. But even if scientifically, if I had a metal mask on my face, and you punch me, dude, it's gonna fucking hurt, because the mask is gonna shove back. Something's gonna happen. And they just really over-exaggerated the character Guy Fawkes, I think. It was a really good movie, good attempt. And the real Guy Fawkes, they say, was a man of God, and he was Catholic. He had good intentions, good things to put forth, and his saying was always, remember the 5th of November. And the Gunpowder and Treason Act. And stuff, so very, very, very good character, very good sequence for the Guy Fawkes, a very good movie, but I want to kind of go ahead and debunk a few things, and speak a couple things. Through this movie, there has been an activist group formulated called Anonymous. Anonymous is to bring the system down. We are the real life V for Vendetta, except for there's millions and millions of us. When V for Vendetta died in the movie, there was a revolution that he had, that he had left behind. He had went down and killed all the fucking, the British motherfuckers that were causing problems. And what had happened was, he was crawling out, he took the bulletproof vest off and threw it straight to the ground. And he had walked out, he was bleeding, and his hat kind of fell off when he got to the train station. And Evie kind of runs up to, oh no, please don't die, please don't die. It's my time to go, Evie. It's my time to go. I have fulfilled what I must do. All of a sudden, Evie gets, V up and takes him to the train. There's a train full of explosives and dynamite. So, she had laid his dead body on the train, and she had put all these dead roses on him and everything. And this train, all of a sudden you have the one asshole that comes out of nowhere with a fucking gun. He's like, fucking, what are you doing? Take your hand off of that lever, and she's like, it's fulfilled. He's done. He's, got to fulfill what we started. And she kind of comes out and stands next to him, and she pulls the lever, and then the doors to the train shuts. Then all of a sudden, this fucking, this car hopper full of fucking, dynamite in his dead body is, going straight into the British Parliament, and it just fucking explodes everywhere, and fireworks in the sky. And hell, the fireworks even formulated a V, So, it's like this, man. That movie, a lot of you guys may think that there was a lot of fucked up things in the movie. And the realistic part about Guy Fawkes is Guy Fawkes wasn't always good. Sometimes he did foolish things. Sometimes he said foolish things. But at the same time, the man was not foolish. Very, very intelligent. He had a good cause. Is that we the people have the power over our government. And we could formulate a system and bring the government down just as long as we work together. Just as long as we all put force efforts together. The government is on one division. In the movie, everybody was so scared of the government. And all of a sudden you start seeing people let's rise up to the government, let's rise up to the government. And it shows these little kids running around with little, Guy Fawkes capes, woo-wee, and shit. Then all of a sudden it shows these soldiers coming up behind them and blasting them in the back of their head and shooting them. Anybody with the Guy Fawkes mask was to be killed. And they had ordered that. And all of a sudden they're declared terrorists and this, that, and the other. It was just fucking ridiculous. And it made me think. We have a movement called Anonymous now. And Anonymous wears the Guy Fawkes mask. Anonymous was founded off principles for V for Vendetta and somewhat tweaked around. And now we've formulated our own bond. We come to our conclusions. We are putting our views out. We are telling people stand up against their government. Stand up against their corruption. Do what you gotta fucking do. Take care of your families. Fucking take care of your homeless. Do what you gotta do. Take care of your people. Come together. We are an activist group. So I'll tell you this. Alan Moore, the comic book writer for V for Vendetta, was actually invited to a November 5th protest. And he come in and seen all these individuals. They never mentioned Anonymous in this video, though. It was actually on YouTube. I forgot what it was. But all of a sudden, he's like, I'm going to check them out. He's like, I'm going to check this out, see what it's all about. He comes and sees these millions of people in Guy Fawkes masks, and he's like, holy crap. What have I started here? He didn't know if it was for good or bad at first, so he started talking with the protesters that had the Guy Fawkes mask on. They started giving their standpoints and views on things, and remember the 5th of November, and what they're standing for, and that we are the real-life version of the V for Vendetta trying to overthrow the government, basically trying to put hope back into, society's lives, basically trying to formulate bonds with the people, trying to, stimulate things. And if you guys remember, the movie took place in the future, and this is what Alan Moore had to say. At first, he was kind of like, I don't know about all this. There's people robbing stores with Guy Fawkes masks. There's people doing crazy things with the Guy Fawkes mask. And he started getting deep into it. And he's like, I kind of dig this November 5th stuff. This is, man, we created this. We formulated this. This is good. This is really, really good. And all of a sudden, he started seeing people standing up and having some balls and putting on a Guy Fawkes mask and going and overthrowing their government. And it's like, this is very relevant. And there's going to be a time that I believe that we're not going to be allowed to wear Guy Fawkes masks. Hell, fucking, I think in New York, in America, you can't even wear a mask around or you'll get arrested. Laws differentiate in states and shit. And that's the sad part about it. Laws definitely differentiate, and some places they'll shoot and kill you for wearing masks. There is no Halloween, there is none of that. Or you'll be killed, and it's really sad. And there's lots of innocent bloodshed and stuff, it's crazy. But anyway, the V for Vendetta movie, for you guys that, seen lots of fucked up things with it, there were some fucked up things to it, but it had lots of good meanings behind it. And if you guys have seen the movie, you should listen and take the advice of V. there is a fulfillment that needs to be fulfilled for this November 5th, people. And we got to come together, and we got to, we are the revolution. We got to send a message saying, hey, it's not okay to take away our rights. It's not okay to damage our freedoms. It's not okay to control weather patterns. It's not okay to do these things. We have to stand up and make a rise together, country to country, sea to sea, around the world. We got to do this together. We got to give the message to the people and to the governments that, hey, yeah, we are doing this. Hey, yeah, we do have this. Hey, yeah, we are going to stand up and rise on November 5th and come together. This is what we're going to do. That's what you got to do. It's the kind of mindset you have to have. V had the mindset that people need. V was a hero because of it. From what I understand, V did not take off that Guy Fawkes mask because you can't defeat an idea, people. You cannot defeat an idea. Because ideas are indeed bulletproof. Think about that. You can murder off humanity. You can lock them up. You can kill them, gas them. But you'll never, ever defeat the idea of what the human race has been about. And the ideas will live on forever and ever. And that's just one of those things that, V was trying to express to people. But I've seen a lot of people making snarky comments and stuff about the movie. Am I taking offense to it, getting buttered over it? No, I am not. You are entitled to your own opinions, just like anybody else is. But it's like, please do not compare Antifa to Anonymous. They're two different things, man. We are activist groups. Antifa, I remember a time Antifa and Anonymous was working together on some operations. But at the same time, Antifa's not really on the best road right now. There's all kinds of rumors and shit going around about them and stuff, so it's kind of like one of those things that, it's kind of just to kind of, even yourself out a little bit. So, what I'd like to get across to you folks is that November 5th is coming. And I want you guys to be ready. Represent what you stand for. Mean what you mean. Make a stand with us this November 5th. Let's remember the 5th of November. And let's let that be remembered for the rest of your lives. Because the 5th of November is going to be the day that we change the world. And the world will forever be different in history, as it will formerly be remembered as the hell that it was. Let's bring the flames higher. It's time for us to bring the flames on the government. The government fears you. They've taken away your freedoms, infringed upon your constitution and your rights. They've taken from your family, including your money from your hard-earned paychecks. It is time for you to rise. It is time for you to make a stand. It is time for you to come to November 5th, and let's make a stand together. And let's tell them that this is not okay. Let Guy Fawkes be remembered forever and ever. Remember, the 5th of November. And don't forget that. Because the 5th of November is always going to be remembered. An innocent man was hung because he did what he thought was right. Because he tried exposing the truth. And he was killed for what he believed. Sounds pretty familiar because people are being killed for what they believe in today's world as well. This is Morbid Persons. You coming to you live with Pirate Sec. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. United by one, divided by none. Expect us.